After it went through, it just driving around, seeing black everywhere. That really got to you. And actually the fact that people went around putting bits of crochet on trees and little notes and that actually meant a lot. That sort of showed that there were other people around who had some idea what you were going through. And the people who came down from 2J and Kelmscott, that meant a lot as well. And they would just talk to you about it. As soon as they saw you, they'd just come up and give you a hug and say, it's all right, we know what it's like. And that was just amazing. It meant so much because at the time you didn't realise just how fragile you actually were after doing it. When you were doing it, you just felt, right, this is what we're going to get on with, this is what we have to do, and you just do it. It wasn't until, I suppose, it's a few days later, something that you went there, that you really realised just how deeply it had affected you when they came up and done that. And then they would talk to you and they'd say you will get through it, it takes 3 years, and then you'll come out the other side, but it will always stay with you. And it was just so nice to know that they knew. And the fact that they brought stuff down, they kept saying, we can't stop what's happening, but we can give you something just to show we care. And that just really meant so much. You know, that other people actually thought about you, total strangers just cared. It made so much difference afterwards.
And I can't imagine those people in Yaaloop who actually lost their houses, how they feel. It's, you know, I mean, I got a glimpse of how that would feel, but just a glimpse, not the full impact of how that would feel. I don't think anyone in Yaaloop was actually expecting what happened.
My husband, he lost everything at the back half, all his shed, his boats, all his toys, etc. So, and a lot of it was passed down from his father, things that were irreplaceable. So he was upset. My friend, she lost everything as well. She was upset. My son was upset with everything, and I kept saying to them, you've lost nothing. You've got it in your heart and in your head, all the memories. You don't need things to go on with life.
You can't put it into words, you really can't. You know, you can't feel what other people feel, and some people hold it. And yeah, my wife still suffers now when she sees a helicopter flying over top. You know, the tears start coming back in. So, you know, to feel what other people feel, it's just, you can't, you know, put that to words. It's hard enough for yourself to face what you go through. You know, my next door neighbour, I just felt so sorry for him because he was an elderly chap, and, you know, to be left on your own, I made contact with him straight away because that's the first, you know, I just thought of my neighbours and thought, geez, how bad are they, you know, are they still here or did they get out? For me, it was people from Red Cross and places like that, they're coming out talking to you, and you know, if you the more you talk about it, that you can understand what you've just gone through and you can deal with it a lot better. So, you know, if people just have a bit of a talk about it, and even if they could, you know, have a bit of a laugh in places. I know it's not funny, but sometimes you've got to look at the positives, and that's the best way of dealing with it, is just have a chat to somebody and, yeah, let it out.
As far as the aftermath, there was a lot of work, a lot of fencing and stuff that we had to do. And just dealing with the cattle the next day was the biggest issue. There was cattle running around the roads everywhere, and not only our cattle, everybody's cattle was mixed up together. So we had to get them in and sort them out, and then bring them to a place where we could keep them. And some had smoke damage in their eyes. You know, the smoke was so thick, so we had to treat all those cattle. We had a number of farmers' breakfasts over. It must have been a 12-month period or more, and it was good to get to talk to other people and see what their experience, what had happened to them, and share your experiences a little bit. I think it was good. Some people, it did affect quite badly, the fires, especially people who lost their houses, I think, And it's interestingly enough, I probably met a lot of farmers I never even knew existed before. So, I thought the farmers' breakfast were an excellent idea and a good way of helping us get over the trauma, I suppose, of the fire. Just talking about it, yeah. Talking to other people, what happened to you and what happened to them, and yeah, I think it does. It certainly does help. Yeah, it's very hard. What do you say to someone who's lost their house? Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, that doesn't really cut it, does it? So, yeah, but yeah, it's. Yeah, the conversation is hard, especially if people have lost a lot. But if you don't talk about things, you bottle them up, and that's always all bad.
It was a really hard time, and seeing families suffer so much. My opinion is that the people that suffered a lot were the ones that were here on the night, that really saw it firsthand. When you come home to your property still standing when so many people have lost theirs, you feel quite guilty. I think the communities, and I guess all communities would be the same, that they pull together after an event like this and they do support each other. They came together at a lot of events and just spoke about their feelings, and I think it helped hugely.
Immediately after a serious disaster, a person may experience a range of thoughts, feelings, and behaviour that can be intense, confusing, and frightening. These are common reactions to an extraordinary situation. Expressing your emotions does not mean you are weak or having a breakdown. These feelings are common and normal.